Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today's rebuild, a pair of seatbelts. You guys asked why I need to rebuild the seatbelts on a lot of the cars that you see on my channel. And today I'm going to show you. I'll show you what happens to the seatbelts. I'll show you what the rebuild companies do to repair them. And I'll show you how I repair them. And the reason the methods are different is I don't have access to all the parts required to rebuild our retractors, but I do have access to use seatbelts. Now in a perfect world, I could just throw these seatbelts in and we'd be all done. But then I wouldn't get to make a video and they'd be the wrong color. These are black, these are brown. Now I could just take the parts off of the retractors and switch them over, but it's actually easier just to change the belt itself. So we're going to take the seatbelt out of here and put in our good retractors. It's actually pretty simple. It's not that rebuilding seatbelts costs a lot of money. It's actually like $50 a seatbelt. But I already paid for these, and rather than throwing them away and not using them, I'm going to use them. I'll save myself the $50 a piece, plus shipping, and a week's wait. So these came out of that enclave that the tree fell on. Link's up there if you haven't seen it. And the afternoon crew is out of town, so I can use the kitchen table to rebuild these. So let's get them done before the girls come home and I'm homeless. So why am I even doing this? Well, there's charges in here similar to an airbag that go off and basically lock the seatbelt in place. Puts a little tension on it. And when it does, you're stuck there. You can't get it back out. Sometimes they'll free back up, but you're going to have an airbag light because it's going to know that this is an open charge now. It should work like this. You just pull them out. Of course, if you've ever tried pulling a seatbelt out really fast or pulled the seatbelt out while someone was putting on the brakes, it locks up. So you got to have it straight up and down and you can pull it out. We're going to need to do that in a minute when we change the seatbelt over. So since our other one doesn't come out of here, we're going to have to take it apart in order to release the lever in here so we can get our seatbelt out. Or I guess we could just sit here and unravel it, but I don't have that kind of patience. So we're going to do it the other way. First we'll pull the outer cover off the pretensioner assembly. This just exposes the inertia lock inside, the part that gets reused every time you step on the brakes and locks up the seatbelt. Most seatbelts have this on the opposite side of the pretensioner, but for some reason they put this one on top of the pretensioner. So it'll be changed with the pretensioner, the actual part that goes bad when the airbags deploy. Or if the accident is minor enough, sometimes it'll just deploy the seatbelt pretensioners without the airbags. So this is the lock part. Technology from way back into the 70s that locks it up when you tilt it. And this part is actually still good. The part inside here is the part that's giving us all of our issues. So this is the actual pretensioner assembly. That's where the plug goes in, and it's just a power and a ground, and it ignites the charge. That tensions up the seatbelt and pulls you back into your seat. This particular one happens to be screwed on. Some of them are riveted on, and some of them have tabs that they bend over the edges and then twist on, but they pretty much all get replaced the same way. Now, if we were a seatbelt rebuilding company, we would just change this part, call it a day. There we go. But I can't buy just this part, so that's why we're changing the belt. So these are the teeth that lock it up. Opa! And these are just like airbags. Once they're deployed, they're junk, so you have to replace them with new ones. Spare parts. Should have bought the console so I had a place to put them. So now we can get to our seatbelt. So we have our seatbelt laid out on the floor, nice and flat. And we're going to need to pull it out of here. So just get a pick in there, don't poke through the seatbelt. And now our seatbelt is free. The only thing that holds it in is this little piece of plastic. So, slide the plastic out. Now our seatbelt will go through hopefully. It's important to make sure that you keep track of where it goes through here, how it wraps around, and then where it goes in. So now our seatbelt is free, ready to put it in our new one. So here's about the only place we can go wrong. So now we gotta pull our other seatbelt out. Now it has a spring in there that wants to wind it back up. You just have to be careful not to let it go. That's about the only way you can really mess this up. If you let that go and it winds back in there, it'll ruin the seatbelt. So you gotta make sure you hold on to this and don't let go of it no matter what. If you want to cheat, a pair of vice grips on there. If you like to live dangerously, you don't have to use those. So I'll stab it. So when I unwound this seatbelt, it ended in a different place. That's why I'm working on the front of it instead of the back of it like the other one. They stop in different locations all the time. There's no rhyme or reason. They still wrap up the same way. Just where you're working on it happens to be a little different sometimes. So we'll feed the webbing through our seatbelt and then through the drum. Then we'll use a screwdriver to kind of poke the webbing through the inside of the drum. It's pretty thin. I did think about using an iron to flatten it out so it'll slide through a little easier. Of course, this is after watching the video. I don't know how it would work, so if you try it, let me know. I think I might try it next time. Anyway, you slide it through. I just push the end of it through with the screwdriver until I can get the pick on the other side of it and then pull it through with the pick. It usually works pretty good, but like I said, if it was ironed out a little bit flatter, it might go in even easier. Then once it's through the drum, put your little plastic in there. Some of those little tubes are metal. And then pull it tight into the drum. Now you can release the clamp once that little bar is in there, and we're out of the woods. If we let it go, it's just going to wind up. It won't totally unwind and destroy itself. If we had to redo it again, it wouldn't be a problem. So we're safe. Keep a little tension on it as it wraps so that it wraps nice and tight. It's only when the webbing is off of there that we have to worry about the retractor coiling up and destroying itself. So we got our seatbelts all done and ready to go back in the other car. We got some old belts. They make good engine lifting straps. And we got some stuff for the pile. We got it all done before the afternoon crew got home. Just remember, if you're going to do this at the kitchen table, make sure you get permission from your wife or girlfriend. Or plan on buying some flowers and spending the night on the couch. So like this video if you found it interesting, share it if you think somebody else might. Subscribe to see more how-tos, my rebuilds, or whatever else I have coming up. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon. And once I let go of this, it will spin and ruin the other side of the retractor. Bye-bye. So that unwound in there, and now it's junk. I don't care. And I'm sure I'm going to get the comments, I would never use a used seatbelt. I would never use a rebuild seatbelt. And to those people, I'd like to reply, what are you using every time you get in your car? Because if you've ever driven it before, it's officially used. It hasn't deployed, but neither have these.